Head over to KFAN.com and make the keyword contest to enter for a chance to win a Papa Murphy's family meal deal, including family-sized pepperoni pizza, cookie dough, and classic cheesy bread. That's KFAN.com. Keyword contest to enter.
This is my favorite piece of new bumper music. How about you, Tennessee?
I like this one, yeah.
Makes me feel happy.
It's called electromagnetism.
Kind of describes you. I'm chewing on a Starburst. I didn't realize that we were coming back from break then. Went to Lil B's Candy Dish.
Yeah.
When I went there this morning, there were all those little mini Hershey chocolates.
Lucky.
Milk and dark. They're all gone. I said, where'd they go? She goes, well, everybody comes in here and eats them and leaves. All gone, so I had to settle for a Starburst. Tough life I lead.
That's a good consolation prize, though.
It's a decent consolation prize.
What's your favorite Starburst? What color?
I like the pink.
Yep, I'm with you.
Is that
pink's number one?
Is that strawberry or cherry? That's cherry, I think.
I think it's strawberry.
Is it? I think
the red would be cherry.
Okay, well, whatever the case may be, I'm with you. Here's what I want to ask you. And you know, when I ask you about the Wild, I've got nothing. Because I've got nothing. I could come up with something if you wanted to. I could talk to you. I don't know if I should do this because this is kind of, it's...
Yeah, the cherry's red, strawberry's pink.
Okay. I wanted to talk about contraceptive efforts regarding rats in New York City, but I'll save that for another time. It's a new bit I did last night. And full disclosure, help from Maury Amsterdam guy. He's a really good comedy writer. He really is. I'm going to say it. A lot of people say he's a really good comedy. He won't play along with the Trump thing anymore, though. And he was the one that first started doing it.
Really?
I think he gets mad. A lot of people are saying. I say it over and over again.
So he got you to start doing it, and now he's mad.
I actually did it last night at Flop, Sweat, and Tears. Did I already say this?
Really?
Well, I didn't dive into it deep, and I didn't do anything political. I was going to say, a lot of people think I'm a great French fry server or something like that. So I kind of dove into it last night a little bit. People seem to enjoy it. Wild 4-0-2. We've talked about what they're on pace for, this, that, or that. Their opponent tonight is who?
The Tampa Bay Lightning.
And now you're going to have to refresh my memory. I don't know about this year, but they've been a quality team.
Well, they've won multiple Stanley Cups in the last 5-6 years.
Yeah, so that's what I thought. So are they still of that are they still in that echelon? Are they still of that caliber? Do they have a good quality club, or is it a little lean right now?
Well, I mean, they're 4-2. And if you remember when you did the NHL Power Rankings yesterday, they were ahead of the Wild in the NHL Power Rankings. It's a team that has had quite a run. I mean, they've, borderline, like one of those dynasty type runs, when it comes to the National Hockey League, where they were making multiple deep runs and then had the cup appearances and wins. But some of their players are getting a little bit on the older side. Okay. So, Steven Stamkos, they let go of him this offseason, so he is in Nashville now. But they still have, Vasilevsky, who, in his prime, best goalie in the game.
Not to be confused with Frank Vassalero.
Very, very different. Yep. Victor Hedman getting up there in age a little bit, but still quality defenseman. And
not to be confused with Victor Hovland.
Yes. And then I don't know how you're going to do not to be confused with this guy, but Nikita Kucherov.
Nikita Khrushchev.
Who, is going to be a Hart Trophy finalist probably. He has 12 points in 6 games so far this season.
What's his name again?
Nikita Kucherov.
Not to be confused with Nikita Khrushchev. Do you know who Nikita Khrushchev is, Tennessee?
I'm going to guess he's from Russia.
Actually, at the time, it was the Soviet Union. He was the premier of the Soviet Union. He was the one that banged his shoe on the countertop at the Politburo, I think. Or was it the Kremlin? Or was it the Pentagon? I forget. But Nikita Khrushchev.
Kucherov, 7 goals, 5 assists in 6 games. That's a very impressive start.
I now remember. I caught a highlight of theirs, a game. I was clicking around, and they were booing him. Every time he touched, he scored a goal, and they were going, boo.
I always love that one.
Why would they do that? Why don't they like him there?
I don't know.
As good as he is, as talented as a player he is. It's crazy stuff.
But I do feel like, and this is off the top of my head and not with any actual data or research, so I could be wrong when I say this. I feel like the Wild have done well against the Lightning. Even though the Lightning have been very good in recent years, that from a matchup standpoint, the Wild have done well against them.
Regarding Carrie Underwood, one of my friends, a male, sends a Snapchat every Sunday night of his TV when Carrie Underwood appears on screen and puts a heart emoji around her. He definitely waits all day
baby.
for Sunday night. That's
kind of sick.
Well, if not sick, it's at least odd. To each his own. Oh, I like this. Oh, I can do that. It's the only one I have today. They've stopped for some reason. And I want to send a closed circuit out to Halloween costume bit guy who, remember when he came up at the fair and he said, "Come on, I've got it nailed. I've got costumes for every day of the month of October." And then he put together, they were these long War and Peace kind of things. And we told him, send it to rewrite. He redid some of them. And then he said, "Well, you don't like them. I'm using the other." Well, no, the next couple of days, I still used a few of his. So I wish I hope he's not mad at me. That's not my intention. It's just a tough love covenant. And if it doesn't cut it, it doesn't cut it. But this one says, "For Halloween this year, I'm dressing like a multi-billionaire with a figurine of Mark Rosen in my back pocket and going as Jim Poland." He's got Rosie in his back pocket. It's so
I always
good.
love that one.
That's a really good one.
And Suhan and LaBelle at Paris.
Well, they're in there too. Going back to when we were talking quarterbacks, Doug Williams, Nick Foles. Again, you're not going to confuse those with any of the all-time greats. They were able to win big games. So again, the point we were trying to make is, and I think people are aware of this, you don't have to have the best quarterback in pro football to win, but you have to be strong at very strong.
You got to be elite everywhere else.
Yeah, you have to be. You got to be elite everywhere else. I've won 2 club championships, not seniors. You have to be very strong mentally. You have to be very strong in other positions in the National Football League.
And probably healthy as well because of that.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Every sports website you look at right now is doing the old trade deadline coming up in the NFL. Who should every team? They have they have one that actually says what the one player or position all 32 teams should be looking at trade deadlines. The really bad teams shouldn't be looking at trade deadlines except to unload guys.
Yeah.
Right? It's like there's not a guy.
Selling.
There's not a guy that's going to change their. If we get this, I know we're 1-5 right now, but if we got one player on our team, this guy here, that's going to turn our season around. Everybody seems convinced that the Vikings, the people that, the insiders, the people that bother the front office people and the coaches, the Schefters of the world, right? These guys that are constantly trying to, find the scoops. They seem to say the Vikings are definitely going to do some kind of a deal which would lead you to believe. This doesn't always mean that you're in it to win it, but they got to think they are. You're not 5-1 at this stage of the season and going, well, we're still in, we're rebuilding here. I mean, they're thinking now is, and not that this is their only window, that if they don't do it this year, blow it up. But they got to think they're right in the mix, especially when you look at the NFC. It's not that powerful. San Francisco's not any good. Philadelphia is playing better, though. Philadelphia, but I still, and again, it changes year to year. What still sticks in the back of my mind, Tenneby, is that collapse of Philadelphia last year. They were 10-1 at one point, then totally collapsed, got bounced in the first round. But and I think you and I we've touched on this. I think you said it yesterday. I think we did talk about it, where you said you thought if there was any places to improve on the Vikings, you could say that right side of the offensive line.
Interior of the offensive line.
Interior of the offensive line, yeah, guard and center. And then maybe defensively, we talked about at least I think maybe some defensive back help could be helpful. But deadline's November 5th. It's the 20th.
A week and a half away.
4th today, so we'll see. We'll keep our. Maybe I'll do some insiding. Maybe I'll reach out to Kev or Quays.
Why don't we just reach out to Mark Rosen? He's got all the insight.
We'll do that next. He's with the Vikings in Los Angeles. He joins us next. Deuce will then make it a foursome at 2:30 for Spread Swing. Right now, the 10B has a keyword.
The Fan and two men in a junk truck want to give you a shot to put $1,000 in your hand with our national cash contest. Enter the keyword credit at KFAN.com now for your shot at winning. That keyword is credit. Enter now at KFAN.com. Mark Rosen's appearance on the program is brought to you by your Greater Twin City Honda dealers. Hey, want to chime in on what's happening with your favorite KFAN program? Make your voice heard on the Bradshaw and Bryan text line. Let us know what you have to say by texting your message to 64686. That's 64686. Standard message and data rates apply.
Couple 13-14 past Common Man program, just a little past the quarter waypoint of the final hour of the Common Man program. Excited and delighted now to go live to Los Angeles on the Connecticut Water Systems Hotline. The legendary Mark Rosen of Channel 4 Sports, formerly of Channel 4 Sports fame. How are you, me boy?
I'm doing well, thank you. Yeah, I'm just about ready to, after I get done with Spread Swing with you and Deuce, Son and I are going to take the long drive to SoFi, my first chance to see the stadium out there, to check it out and get ourselves situated. And I think they charge like $110 or something for parking. I did not get a parking pass, so that was my bad.
Yeah.
But I saw the new arena that opened up last night for the Clippers. They had it was
so you're
only
actually going to have to, for probably the first time in your life, have to pay for something related to a sports game.
Wait, are you looking in the mirror and talking about something? No, come on, man.
No, come on, man.
Don't go down that road.
Well,
come on, man. You know, I paid thousands of dollars for playoff tickets for the Wolves, and come on.
So you'll be going to SoFi. What the hell happened you were there? What happened at the Fabulous Forum?
It was a very, as anybody who watched it, a very lackluster performance. And I'm saying, I hate to use that word effort, but the Wolves were out of sorts. I mean, I figured this was going to take some time to get, they didn't resemble anything like the team we saw certainly the end of last year. And some new players and the big trade, but they looked really good in the preseason, but that's preseason. Randall looked like he hadn't played basketball in a year. DiVincenzo was, okay. But they just never got in a rhythm. And yet I still felt they were down by 12. They were, tantalizing, just hanging around. And all of a sudden they cut the lead to 4. And I thought they may steal this game despite how poorly they're playing. And then Anthony Davis just took over. He was a monster the other night. He was that good. They had no answer for him. And, everything was sort of centered around when is LeBron and Bronny going to be on the court for the first time, first father-son thing. And everybody stood up in their seats when they were reporting in at the scorer's table. And
they did not.
They came out, and it was pretty anticlimactic. I mean, I think Bronny touched the ball a couple of times, but didn't score. It wasn't exactly like the Griffies playing together. The young man's got a long ways to go, obviously. I don't know how much time J.J. Redick's going to get him going forward, but, it made for a good storyline. And Lakers won. The Wolves have to kind of bounce back to play tonight, and still in California. They play in Sacramento tonight. And I would hope they're going to come up with a much more concerted effort, and from the get-go, because they just nothing was kind of working for them the other night.
Would you at this stage with the Wolves? Are you panic or patience?
Very patient. I was patient even had they won. I think it's going to be, even the other day we were talking, I don't look at them as necessarily a 56-win team. I think they're going to be the 50 range. And I think we saw last year, the idea of, I got to get the number 1 seed or number 2 seed. I mean, the West is so balanced, so well constructed, and, the Wolves have proven they can win on the road in the postseason. And, I think they'll be jockeying for position for one of the top 4 or 5 spots. But, it's hard to say. But they're still an elite team. I think it's just going to be, it's going to probably take him some time to kind of gel and figure out what Randall's spot's going to be and how they're going to use him and the bench. But the rotation, I was kind of hoping when they were getting down by 12 or 13 that
you wanted to see Luka Garza.
Finchy would have, my guy, Luka Garza, yeah. Minot, a few other guys, maybe Dillingham, just to kind of get their feet wet a little bit in the NBA. But he was trying to win the game at all costs, and it didn't work out that way.
Well, why can't some of those other kids help win games at all costs? Why do you have him on the roster? He does that but he never does that. He never uses. He goes 8 or 9 deep, and that's all he does. He never. Yeah, I don't understand. I mean, you just drafted the 2 rookies. You got to give them some time. Young kids can bring a little energy to a game.
Right.
Are they that?
And they needed that the other night.
I don't understand.
They needed some energy. That's why I thought, between Garza, who's been around for a while now, and let him go out there and try to bang bodies with Anthony Davis. I mean, no one else is providing that kind of energy. And if not one of the rookies, then Josh Minot, who played a lot during the preseason. But I don't disagree with you. I think they could have used a little spark, and I think it would have been sent a message to go, look, you guys aren't playing hard enough for me right now. The message was not accepted.
Did you guys?
So bring some other.
Did you leave early to beat traffic? Because I think I would have.
No.
Oh, okay.
You know what? Leaving what used to be Staples Center, now Crypto.com. Honestly, I want to say it's almost easier to get out of there than it was a Target Center. They have a pretty good ramp parking. Right. LA Live is over there. And
sure.
Everything's kind of spread out, and people are going in 1,000 different directions when they get out of there. So when we parked, where we parked, it didn't take more than 10 minutes to get out of there and back in the flow of traffic. So it was not bad. No, we stayed till the end. No, I don't like leaving early.
Vikes, Rams.
A lot of LA fans like to leave early. A lot of them were leaving early.
It's just another game. It's not. It's like you and I have had that discussion before. I don't need to stay to the bitter end. It just doesn't. If it's a really good game, an important game, sure. But first game of the season, sometimes you just go. You know what might be
exactly.
I might just want to move in another direction.
I don't blame him. I was just hanging out, and
tonight on this,
it was fun just to
Tonight on this radio station, 5:50 or 5 o'clock is the pregame, the opening. Be here for the kaboom at 7:15. The 5-1 Vikings against the 2-4 Rams. Your thoughts?
Well, I mean, the Rams are getting the reinforcements back tonight. Their wide receivers. I mean, Cooper Kupp and Puka Nacua are both expected to play tonight. They've been out for weeks, and those two are as good as it gets in the NFL. I mean, they're top flight receivers, and there's a lot of rumors, certainly in the LA media right now, about in particular Cooper Kupp being on the trading block. A lot of we've seen some movement already with wide receivers, and the trading deadline's up for another week and a half. But his name's been mentioned quite a bit. Cooper Kupp has, and so we'll see how he responds. They have our guy Tyler Johnson, who's been playing pretty well, the wide receiver from Minnesota. Made some nice catches last week, in fact. So, the Rams are formidable. They're not like they used to be when they were in the Super Bowl, but, their defense, certainly without Aaron Donald, is not as good. And how could it be? But, these are usually tougher assignments for kind of the Midwest teams playing we're using the old time zone thing, but the Vikings have to snap back.
Don't go with the time zone stuff.
What's that?
Don't go with the time zone stuff, please.
No, I'm just going by the records. Literally, you look at the records of the teams that have gone out here. I'm not speculating that oh my God, they were they were like in London.
Will you promise if the Vikings lose when you join us again, you won't blame time zone change, please?
I'm not blaming it at all. Okay. I'm not even suggesting it. I'm just saying that if you look at the win-loss record and against the point spread, teams that in situations when they're playing like Minnesota don't usually do as well. That's all I'm saying.
Right.
But I think that's the last thing that's on the mind of KOC and Brian Flores tonight. They've been getting gashed. Obviously, the Lions gashed them, and I think more than anything, I'm anxious to see how the Vikings defense responds tonight.
Have you heard anything about Reisner and Hawkinson? Will either play? Do you know? Have you heard anything out there? I'm
hopeful that Hawkinson is. I've heard, that he's still kind of an iffy proposition. I mean, I know hockey. I was texting with Chris. Of course, he's getting out there early, helping produce the broadcast tonight here in the Fan. But I have not seen anyone tweet anything. I think we're going to have to wait for the actives and inactives. The Vikings do have to activate T.J. Hawkinson by tomorrow, I believe. Otherwise, he's done for the year. So even if he doesn't play tonight, they have to get him back on the active list, or they shut him down for the year, and that would be that's not the kind of news we expect, given the fact that we've been thinking that he's about ready or has been ready with his training. So I obviously everybody wants to see him back out there, but only if he's ready to go. So have not heard one way or another. I don't think we'll hear until right before game time when they announce the inactives at,
when did they do that? About 45 minutes from now?
What's that?
Did you say about 45 minutes from now when they'll make that announcement? The inactives?
No, usually 45 minutes to an hour before kickoff.
Oh, before kickoff, okay.
When they announce the inactives, so that's when we'll know officially. We may hear, word that'll get out based on, other people who are out there scouting or hearing or maybe having talked to KOC. Maybe PA here has heard something, but I'll find out when I get to the stadium, I guess, where we are with all that.
Well, I
don't know about Rising.
We're going to put you on hold, and Tenby, you do it because I'll end up hanging up on him, or maybe we can call you back, whatever, because we're going to take a break, come back. Deuce will join us. It'll be time for Spread Swing. Legendary Mark Rosen live from Los Angeles. Deuce live from Lincoln. Spread Swing is next on The Fan.
Rubes, this football season, Bell Bank is giving one KFAN listener each week $1,000 to pay it forward to a charity of their choice. Just head over to KFAN.com, keyword contest to learn more and enter today. That's KFAN.com, keyword contest.
Couple 13-14 pass. I'm Common. He's Tenby. We re-welcome, if that's even a word, the legendary Mark Rosen, courtesy of the Connecticut Water System Hotline. He joined us in a segment previous. He's in Los Angeles. He watched the Wolves take on the Lakers. He's there for Vikings versus Rams. And now live from Lincoln. What was he thinking going to Lincoln? It's Deuce. And Deuce, I'm glad you got home safe and sound. Your fall break is over. You came home. It was doubleheader action for us. We were at US Bank Stadium, pregame, on field, watched the game, ate a lot of food in the suite. And Saturday we watched your Nebraska Cornhuskers take on the Indiana Hoosiers.
Ooh.
And it was a beatdown, 56-7, but really, I don't think your Cornhuskers team was really that far out of the game if you look at it. What would you say?
I mean, I really wouldn't say that we were that far out of it either. We were talking about this. All the Nebraska Cornhuskers needed was a touchdown, 2-point conversion, onside kick, touchdown, 2-point conversion, onside kick, touchdown, 2-point conversion, onside kick, another touchdown, 2-point conversion, onside kick.
Yeah.
If you take away the 49 points that Indiana scored before we were up on the board, it was a pretty close game.
Yeah,
we were right there with them.
You take away those 49 points.
What happened?
Yeah.
Indiana that good? Well, they are.
They are, and Nebraska got exposed.
Raiola just had his bad game. He was bound to have some slip-ups as, a true freshman quarterback, obviously, and he showed that he's a true freshman with a lot of learning to do. He threw a few picks, and he just did not look like his normal self. And now we get the pleasure of going to the Ohio State University this weekend, which could be just disastrous. Hopefully we can keep it somewhat
brotherly bragging rights at stake, too, and I got a feeling he's going to be able to brag. I think you're in some trouble. And I hope you don't take offense to this or don't write me off as your dad, but I'm now I'm an Ohio guy. Sorry, dude. I'm off the bandwagon. Go OSU.
Get off, and stay off. We like it that way. Now, we like being underdog.
Before we start Spread Swing, more importantly than all the Nebraska, Ohio State, Vikings, Lions, Rams, whatever.
Right.
Any new developments in intramural flag football? Do you have a game coming up? What's next?
Well, I do have a game tonight, and last week I actually scored a rather controversial touchdown. What happened is I was playing O-line, and I was guarding the rush, and the guy eventually got around me, and I made myself available for like a short pass in case my quarterback Trevor needed it. He looked my way and threw it a little bit high, so I jumped up and grabbed it, and as I caught it, a defender was trying to make the play on the ball, but he really didn't get any of the ball and basically just ran straight into my face. And as I got smacked in the head, I was falling towards the ground. My flag fell off, which means if you go down or you get touched, it only has to be one hand touch. You are down. But I stuck my hand into the ground to keep myself up. I felt like Megatron or even Julio Jones staying on my feet, and I outran everybody into the end zone, and it was a touchdown. No one was really sure what had happened on the other team. The other team didn't really know the rules, so they didn't have a lot of time to get after me after they realized I was still up. So I got into the end zone, and no one really knew what was happening. So I wasted a great celebration where I took the pylon and pretended the football was a golf ball and the pylon was a putter, and I pretended to just sink this long, devious putt, and the ref didn't flag me. And I talked to him afterwards, and he said, "I'm not even going to lie, man. Didn't even see that celebration.
I
was busy. He was busy setting up the next play. He wanted nothing to do with my nonsense. He's just trying to do his job.
That could have been your trip to the commissioner's office, and it's all for naught. That's unfortunate. Well, you'll get another chance because you're playing tonight.
I have a game tonight.
So get it done.
Hopefully I'll get in the end zone, and we could do a T.O. Sharpie or a Joe Horn flip phone kind of thing. We'll see.
Very good. Let's go ahead and begin. It's time now for Spread Swing.
Spread Swing.
Yeah, the scores going into last week. Mark Rosen on top of the Spread Swing standings with 133 points.
Wow.
I was in second with 43.5. Common in third at 16.5. And Deuce in fourth with 7. But hey, all four of us were in the positive. No negative scores until last week.
Oh, until last week.
We now have some movement into the red, into the negative side. Deuce, you took Atlanta -3 against Seattle last week. And they lost by 20, 34-14.
Oh, my God.
So you lost 23 points there. You did get a nice hit on your other one, though. You had Jacksonville -5.5 against the New England Patriots in London. They won by 16. So you gained 10.5, but overall you lost 12.5 points. You're now in the negative. You're at -5.5.
Tenneby, I know this would be a lot of work, and I don't want to put too much on it. I wished I could get Deuce's soundbite predicting the Falcons because he was so cocky and the Falcons were going to do this or that. It's just delicious.
Common, you had a couple small wins last week. You had Detroit +2 against the Vikings. They won by 2, so you gained 4 points there.
That's nice.
You also had Houston +2.5 against the Packers. They lost, but only by 2, so you gained 0.5 point.
Aha, very good.
So on the week, you gained 4.5, so you move up to 21 points. I had a solid week. I had Pittsburgh +2 against the Jets, and they won by 22, so I gained 24 points on that one. And then I had Arizona +2.5 against the Los Angeles Chargers, and they won by 2, so I gained 4.5 there.
Holy moly.
So I'm up to 72 points, which is like a record high for me. I've never been up into that territory before, but I'm still well clear of Mark Rosen. Now, Rosen, you did have one negative hit last week. You had Minnesota -2 against Detroit, and they lost by 2. So you did lose 4 points there. You did gain 6.5 on your other one because you had Baltimore -3.5 at Tampa Bay. They won that game by 10. So Rosen, you're now up to 135.5. I'm in second with 72. Common in third with 21. And Deuce in his comfortable spot in last place.
Customary spot.
With -5.5. So it'll go Deuce.
Number one pick every week.
It'll go Deuce, Common, me, Rosen.
Spread Swing.
Well, fourth in the North, I get the first pick, as per usual. It's my spot. It's where I'm comfortable bringing up the rear end and being the caboose of KFAN Spread Swing. And, I'm looking to change it and go escape the red, go into positives. But if not, maybe I could set myself up for another biblically bad season. And I just might be doing that by, again, going with a team that did me dirty last week. The Atlanta Falcons completely fell apart last week. They looked like a shell of the team they had been in the past few weeks, and they just got demolished by Seattle, who appeared to be floundering. But they looked like a brand new team in that game. But now Atlanta travels to Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay, who will be without Mike Evans and Chris Godwin, I believe. And Baker Mayfield has thrown 5 picks in the past 2 weeks. And he's a streaky quarterback as it is with really great weapons.
You think it's a Falcons rebound game, don't you?
The Falcons are going to have a bounce back game. They're going to come out angry, and I'm not saying that I'm insanely high on Kirko, but I think Kirko Chains will get Atlanta the win. He'll beat a vulnerable Tampa Bay team. I know it's on the road, but I'll take Atlanta -2.5.
Very good.
You like that? You like that? Spread swing.
These people, somebody sent me Deuce lost 13.5 points last week. He's at -6.5. Someone's checking Tenneby's math again. I don't know if they're right or not.
He lost -23 in the Atlanta game. He gained 10.5. So -23 plus 10.5 would be -12.5 if my math is correct.
He has 13.5. That's it. But I just like for the record to throw that out there. It's my turn now, right?
Yes.
Why not? I'm on a roll. The roar's been restored. I'm giving up a lot of points. 11.5 is a lot of points. But Tennessee is a terrible team in a terrible city, terrible fans. The stat that stands out more than any this year for me in the NFL, the Lions have more touchdowns than incompleted passes over the past 4 weeks. 18 tutties, only 14 incomplete passes. That's an offense that's clicking on all cylinders, and so. Even though I have to give up the points, plus it's part of the bit, I'll take the Kitties and give the 11.5.
Spread swing.
The Chicago Bears are favored by 3 points. They're heading to Washington this week. And Jaden Daniels in the last game hurt his ribs. He has not practiced yet this week. That being said, he got hurt early in that game last week, and they still routed. I know it's a bad team they played, but they routed the Carolina Panthers 40-7. And Marcus Mariota looked good. He threw for 2 touchdowns. He completed 18-23 for 205 yards. 1, there's still a chance that Jaden Daniels could play. 2, even if he doesn't, maybe it wasn't Jaden Daniels this whole time. Maybe it was that they have an elite offensive line. Maybe it was their new play caller has changed things up there. Because they still were rolling last week with Mariota at the helm. So a good Washington team, 3-point underdogs at home against a Chicago team. I'm still not ready to go all in. I'm going to go up for that. So I'm going to take Washington +3 at home.
Spread swing.
Well, leave it to Mike Tomlin to resurrect Russell Wilson's career in Pittsburgh. Justin Fields on the bench. Tomlin goes, I'm comfortable with Russell Wilson. Saw the breakdown this morning. He's got a much better loft on his passes. The receivers are collecting him. He looks like the cagey veteran that we've seen, and I guess with Tomlin. Pittsburgh's always there. -6.5 against the woebegone New York Giants. Pittsburgh's defense is too good. We saw that last week. I'll be happy to give the 6.5. Take the Steelers and Russell Wilson over the Giants.
Hold on. I'm late on the trigger on this one. Hold on.
I'm unlimited, Mr. Unlimited.
There you go. How about that?
Spread swing.
After a plethora of head injuries and a lot of concern from not only the Miami Dolphins staff, not only the NFL in general, but also the general public. Everyone's concerned for Tua, but I think he's coming back this week, and he'll play. There's no question to how passionate he is for the game. I mean, he's been beaten up so bad thus far, but I think that this Miami club is going to rally around Tua rejoining the club. They're at home against an Arizona team that's competent but not outstanding. I think the Dolphins, they just can't let Murray scurry, and they got to bother Connor. And I think they're going to take this Arizona club apart piece by piece. I think they're going to win this game. I'll take Miami -3 at home against Arizona.
Like it.
Spread swing.
It's hard to know how a guy who's had concussion issues just have a major concussion is going to respond to game 1.
Well, you probably
if it's the old Tua, I like that, but
with Deuce picking him, you're probably right. That he probably won't respond, and they're going to get crushed. Oh, is
you're
it my turn?
upcoming. Yeah.
I forgot I had to make another pick.
I love how you literally have one pick to make every week.
Yeah, he's not ready.
I'll go ahead and I'll take the purple. I think the purple's going to win big tonight. I think this is
What? Wow.
What do you mean what? I mean,
Well, no, you never take the purple.
Well,
You sniped me.
I'm surprised you didn't.
Yeah, it's your own fault for not taking.
Well, I didn't think you guys would, so
Yeah.
that's all right.
Well, why wouldn't I? I mean, they're playing a woebegone Rams team. The Rams defensive second. I'm banking on statistics on this. When the Rams secondary is awful, JJ is very annoyed by not cracking the 100-yard mark. I think this is a bounce back game offensively for the Vikings as far as that combination between Darnold, especially. I really do think the key though for this game is if Hawkinson is able to play, because I think Hawkinson opens things up a lot for
sure does
for JJ. So I'm going to take the Vikings and give the 2.5 points. Thank you. Appreciate that.
Spread swing.
I might regret passing up on Green Bay minus 3.5 against Jacksonville, but I'm going to go a different route, and I'm going to stay in that Minnesota Vikings Los Angeles Rams game. I am not feeling good about this game tonight. I would say one, I think people are in the assumption that the Rams are bad because they're 2-4. The team the Vikings are playing tonight has not been around all season long. This is a different team with Cooper Kupp and Puka Nacua. Their offense is going to be probably pretty good tonight. I would also say even the 4 games they played without Kupp and Nacua, they beat San Francisco. They beat Vegas without those two. Their 2 losses were close losses to Green Bay and Chicago, 2 pretty quality teams. And the Vikings offense just hasn't had the same flavor lately, just 3 touchdowns over the last 10 quarters. And just for common, time zone difference, travel, short week.
There you go.
I think the Vikes are going to struggle tonight. I'm going to take the LA Rams plus 2.5.
Well, do you know the real reason why I took the Vikings? I'm playing to my audience.
You're playing to the audience.
That's what they want to hear.
I missed the assignment on that.
Spread swing.
Well, thank goodness the Yankees are playing. The Yankees are playing the Dodgers in the World Series because they have to keep their minds off their football teams, because both the Giants and the Jets have been awful. The pressure cooker is really squarely on the Jets. They acquired Devontae Adams. Aaron Rodgers has been sniped. Everybody's upset, and I think they're going to take it out in New England this week. I mean, they've been close. Their defense is solid. We saw that against the Vikings. The Patriots are just okay at best, and the Jets you have to give the 7 points. It's a lot of points. I just think they're ripe for one of those breakout games to salvage, that they still have an opportunity for the postseason, certainly, and this is kind of a make or break game. Much the way you look at the Dallas Cowboys. I almost took them. I thought I can't.
No, you can't.
So I'll go with the Jets. Give the 7 against.
I don't know if the Jets should be favored by 7 over anybody. Even if they played the Gophers, I don't know if they should be favored by 7.
They shouldn't be. That's a lot of points, but it also tells you where New England's at right now. But I think the Jets defense will shut them down. Yeah.
There
we go. By the way, Deuce and Dylan sit down with 2 members of the Lincoln Stars. In this episode, Dashiell Oliver and Caden Harrington talk about their journeys to the USHL, the Stars' red-hot start to the 24-25 season, the highs and lows of playing in the USHL, and their gaming skills to test in the NHL 23. Find it on the iHeart app or wherever you get your podcasts, and find it on YouTube to watch the version with video. Just search Studio 313 Podcast. Like that, Deuce?
Loved it.
Yeah,
beautiful.
Yeah,
the Lincoln Stars are back. They're winning it all this year, and it's a big one on Friday. We got the Tri-City Storm.
All right, me boy. Thank you so much. We good luck against the Tri-City Storm. We'll talk to you soon.
Thank you so much. Yes, I'll talk to you very soon. You guys have a good one. Thanks for having me.
You bet. Rosie, we'll see you. Enjoy the game tonight. We'll talk to you soon, okay? Have a safe travel back.
Yep, be back next week.
There you go.
Take care, my friend.
The legendary Mark Rosen, along with Deuce. We'll take a... No, we're done. I'm sorry. Debbie, thanks for having me.
Hey, great job.
You as well. We're back tomorrow at 12 noon. Stick around. Big Ticket JG. They're next year in the Fan.
Good night. Good morning. Good afternoon. And good night, Minnesota.
And good night, folks. And good night, Mrs. Calabash. Wherever you are.
Well done, young man.
Listen back to any of Common Man's programs by podcasting on the iHeartRadio app or KFAN.com.